Welcome to Bounce, playful, unfussy conversations with SoCal's arts and culture stars. I'm your host, Susan Petrella, a lifelong arts and culture patron advocate and the rockstar consultant who rocked your business to success. Each Wednesday, I'm hanging out with cool, clever, and creative individuals. Today's guest is Chris Hoff. Chris Hoff is the dynamo behind OC Art Blog, has shown artwork here and abroad, curated shows, most recently a show called Hidden Treasures at the John Wayne Airport. He also launched the Hoff Foundation, which has funded about $35K in grants to local artists in Long Beach and Orange County. He's got a internationally popular podcast, unlike mine, The Radical Therapist, and serves as a board member for Project X Foundation for Art and Criticism. And his day job is Chris Hoff Counseling. So welcome, Chris.
Correct. Thank you, Susan.
So why in 2004 did you launch the OC Art Blog?
I launched the OC Art Blog in 2004 because in 2003 I started an exhibition space in Huntington Beach called The Office. So maybe somebody is familiar with that. And it was a space that ran in an industrial park in Huntington Beach for about 5 years. And about that time, the early aughts, blogging was a thing, and there were some... There was Art Blogging LA, and I'm trying to think of some of the blogs that were happening back then. Tyler Green, Modern Art Notes blog, he now has a podcast. But so I saw that this blogging thing was going on, and I thought, it might be a way to promote the shows that we were doing at the office, to kind of create some dialogue that we were really not having in Orange County about the Orange County art scene. And so that's how that got started, yeah.
Now, were you in the arts before, like 2004, or had some relationship to that?
I was as a kind of just an art fan, and then I started to make work. A lot of my work was photo-based. I built a dark room in my garage back then. This was pre-digital, Okay. And so I was doing photo-based work, and yeah. And
do you still do that work?
I do not. No,
okay.
No. It's
counseling takes too much time. Right?
Yeah.
So it's 22 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because my husband and I came in 2004 here. So some takeaways from this 22-year journey.
I guess you could say I'm passionate about the Orange County art scene. That I still, I think Orange County has, I'll say that, Orange County has, I think, it's always, it's been a challenge. I think if you talk to any artists that are based here, or even the institutions, I'm sure, around funding struggle, but my takeaway is that there's always, even more so now, I think, artists doing work actively, and trying to make an impact. So, and I still want to support them and make them visible as best I can, and create a dialogue. I think the thing that I think art needs in Orange County is a critical dialogue too, to give it some weight, some sustainability, and some visibility. And so I think we provide that at the OC Art Blog through different writers that have written for the blog, have provided a critical discourse as well about some of the shows and some of the things going on in Orange County that I think is, that we need here.
So it was originally just yourself, right? And now you've
it was originally just me, and now it's kind of a evolving cast of characters have come in and written. Many of you probably know Tyler Stallings. He's written for us, and I'm working with a couple of new younger writers now, which I really like doing. I like mentoring, people that are interested in art and want to write about art, because there's not a lot of opportunities to do that now. So, I put out calls for people that are interested in writing about art. We pay for your stuff. Yeah. So, which
wants
also,
to write?
and so you are paid for your work at Orange County Art Blog. And so, yeah.
So your kind of day job is counseling. So is this, where you counsel, offer therapy for creatives? So is OC Arts Blog your therapy?
Is my therapy?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. People often, in the therapy world, people often talk about self-care. How as a therapist, do you practice self-care? And I always tell people, my self-care is to come to like a white cube of some sort, a museum, a gallery. Okay. It's like church for me. So yeah, it's where I do my self-care, and yeah, it's fun.
Would you like to do anything different with the blog? Or?
Well, I want more people to want to write for it.
Okay.
Like I said, I think there is a lot going on in Orange County that it goes unseen or is not very visible that should be. And so my plan is to maybe do more video, short form video, since that seems to be where all the kids are going now, so short form video. Eventually I would like to do events of some sort, gatherings of some sort. I think, in our culture, in our community now, we're losing all our third spaces, So,
well, and about creating community too.
Yeah. So how do we?
We're also isolated.
Yeah. How do we bring people together? Before you hit record, Sarah was mentioning about the fracture of kind of Orange County scene. There's Santa Ana, and then there's Laguna, and then there's Newport, Corona del Mar, and and you have these different. It'd be nice if we can all kind of come together in some way, shape, or form, and see what each other is doing, and have dialogue.
Seems really tough to do, though, because I've been in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and there was always a divide between like North Orange County and South Orange County.
Sure, but I think if somebody takes the initiative, I've come to realize that I think people are hungry for in real life events now, and so after COVID, and then I think a lot of people are feeling a little bit isolated, and if we can give somebody or give people an on-ramp to kind of come together, I think we could do it.
One of your recent articles spoke to the issue of, Orange County not having like an overarching, kind of arts and culture department versus, the county and the city.
No real official public policy.
Well, other than, the John Wayne Airport Arts Commission, which, putting up, and then there was all this controversy. It's like, it's art.
Right, recently,
lately, with an exhibit. So, what's your sense about that?
Well, I think it's a U.S. specific thing. I was just in Spain last week for Arco Madrid, which is a very large art fair where they bring in 90,000 people, 40,000 artist professionals. I think the impact to the economy of Madrid and the local economy is 100 and 200 million plus. In a 1-week event, and I was talking to a gallerist who told me that's based in Barcelona, and she said that their government supports their commercial galleries, right?
Wow.
And she said she wouldn't be able to make it without it, but the governments, I think in Europe, understand the economic benefit of a intentional specific arts program, right? That the money that if you got organized about it, that it could bring to the local economy. And for some reason, it's U.S. specific, not just Orange County, but Orange County is maybe worse than a lot of other places. And if you go to the blog, you could see a recent article I wrote about kind of ranking our Orange County supervisors on their specific arts approach. Some are better than others, but still in Orange County we have no specific,
It's interesting because years ago, I don't know, we had an arts committee in Fullerton or whatever, and Americans for the Arts, did every year you could apply the economic impact study. So we participated, and actually our economic impact was greater than Laguna Beach. Which was really kind of interesting. The numbers for over, less residents in Laguna Beach, but, it's like a triple economic impact because, buy a ticket to the local theater production. The theater production needs paint. They go to the local hardware store and
you have
pay
dinner
people.
before the theater.
But it seems like and there's been so many studies around that, but it's like it's not gone anywhere. I don't know whatever happened to American for the Arts Economic Impact Study. They did it for a number of years in various cities around. But yes, there's no overarching sense of, I don't know, maybe we're not old enough. We're not Rome with a Colosseum or, heritage sites or whatever. I don't know. There's not this
I think it's kind of a systemic infrastructure thing. We're losing our press, so there's no advocacy, right?
Yes, yes.
And then you can go on and on down the road. Yeah, so it's just, and that's why I've decided to take kind of a critical turn at the OCR blog about our institutions, our supervisors, our politicians, what are they doing? Because there is absolutely no advocacy for the arts going on in Orange County at this time.
So being a little bit more pointed about
yeah, I'm going to have to step into the political realm, which I don't mind doing. I think, I'm passionate about independent press, and I think, the minute we lose independent press, we lose democracy, right? And so I think it's important what this little blog is going to do. If nobody's going to speak up for the artist, who is, so.
So you want to call out who's the best and the worst?
Go read my blog, ocrblog.com, okay. And then you'll get a detailed report on how they're doing.
And you also had another wonderful piece. Where is this? I've got it right here or whatever. Doing it anyway, what the 2026 Creative Futures Survey reveals about artists and what it means for the OC. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, this is Yancey Strickler, who was part of Kickstarter, but he's starting this new kind of artists corporation called Meta Label, which I've written about on the blog, about this new idea around artist corporations, which he's trying to bring on, which is kind of this collective event. But he does an annual anonymous survey of 400 plus artists about how they're viewing the current climate. And so again, go to ocrblog.com to get a review. But I think it's I think any artist in Orange County is going to experience the same, probably have some of the same experiences, a lot of concern around AI, a lot of concern around visibility in this day and age, and how to be visible as an artist.
Any recommendations around that?
Well, I know artists don't really like to hear this, but
tell them anyways.
And even therapists that I train and supervise, I tell them we live in a world where you have to be visible, and it is what it is. And I think artists, if they can kind of lean into it a little bit, can be really creative with it. I mean, I think a lot of the short form video stuff all looks the same, but if you could bring your creativity to that medium, it might do wonders for your work and your career.
So are artists more introverts than extroverts?
I'll say this, the artists that are extroverts aren't the most talented, but they do seem to get a lot of visibility.
Yeah, woo!
Opinion alert. So that's the sad part. I think I see really talented people, not getting their due, so to speak, right, because of some of this climate. So. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity there for artists to be more visible and it's all socially constructed. You don't have to worry about what people think or that kind of thing. And
you don't have to worry about that?
I don't.
No?
Everybody does, but
yeah.
I think I try. That's me just trying to encourage people to hit record and do something creative,
flaunt, right? Like we're doing here, just hit record.
Right, just hit
David
record.
Will, whatever.
Yep.
But speaking of AI, it was really interesting. Before I was telling David, there was 2 interesting articles, one in the New York Times Magazine and then The Guardian, which I go to every day. With the advance of AI, I feel my work as an artist is no longer respected. Should I just give up? Mm-hmm. What would you say to that?
Well, I don't think that's true at all. I don't think, like I said, I think AI I'm not anti-AI. I think AI has a role. I think there's artists doing interesting things with AI. I'll point out Estampa in Spain, a collective of like technologists, artists, and stuff that are critiquing AI while using it in collaboration with their work, doing interesting stuff. But I think there's going to be more, as AI grows. Like I said, there's going to be more requests for like depth and slowness and real kind of work. I think painting. I was just like I said. I was just at the art fair in Madrid, and the amount of painting that was there was quite impressive, right? And so there wasn't any really digital work or like, yeah, it was like painting and sculpture, and it was just like, yeah.
Tactile kinds of
Yes,
things.
very much, very
maybe,
much.
Yeah, something you can get your hands on or whatever versus something more esoteric and fly by night.
I think if anything, if people, I think unless they're doing it really creatively, if people get a whiff that it's like AI, it probably will get ignored, in some ways. But the people that are using it in a way that's critiquing it at the same time, I think is interesting,
So, are you going to get back to your work ever?
My work?
Your
Well,
photo?
with Dave's new show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna do one of those boards. Yeah,
You're gonna do one of those boards, huh?
It's funny. I often think about it.
Do you still have that dark room?
I do not. We moved. Yeah. So.
But
yeah.
You said you often think.
I often think about making work, and the writing has been a creative outlet for me. I've been doing some videos and stuff more around the therapy world and that kind of role. But and I've done some. There's an OCR blog TV on YouTube, and so I've done some interviews and stuff like that, and that kind of scratches the creative itch for me.
Okay.
But I would like to slow down a little bit and do some work, maybe.
Can you speak to, is this like, whatever the patient confidentiality or whatever? So creatives, what are they most worried about?
Well, I think that's a great question, but I think a lot of it is like the world is changing so fast.
Yeah, it is.
And, what is my role in it? And how do I
think not just creatives. It's like,
yeah,
I say to them, it's
world.
like, can I have the 70s back,
yeah,
please?
there's what I would say is John Keats coined this term. The poet John Keats coined this term called negative capability, right? And it's this idea that we should acquire this negative capability so we can tolerate uncertainty, ambiguity, and these journeys through liminal space that are being required of us in this kind of our new contemporary culture where everything's acceleration, fragmentation, et cetera, et cetera. And so as creatives, I think because the creative process is a process of journeying through liminal space, I think creatives are most effective at this, right? I think they can be, once they get reintroduced to their skills and knowledge and wisdom, they can be leaders in navigating these
capable than others
sort of spaces. Yeah, this negative capability. Because I know there's a lot of artists in the room right now. You all know. How many times are you sitting in front of a work, like with doubt operating on you, and and all the potential audience that sits in your studio with you and plays all that. So yeah, acquire negative capability because you're going to need it.
Okay. So I'm just trying to think of what else. What else should we talk about?
We covered a lot of territory in a short period of time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, then, where am I? Whoops. I got to go to my closing. Where is it? Oh, heck. I should have it memorized after all this time. Thank you for sharing your story with us. You've made Bounce Bounce. A special thank you to our generous sponsor, Coastline College, its Fine Arts Department and Art Gallery. David Michael Lee, Director, Curator, Professor. He's also our wonderful producer. Thank you, David. Until next time. Questions? Anybody questions? We can do questions.
Yes.
My biggest question is, how do you get people to come to your website, your video you're gonna make, your up, because that is the biggest issue for me. It's like, I don't mind doing it, I don't mind putting it out there, but how do you get people to actually come to your, what would you say is the best?
The best piece of advice I can give you, and it works, but it's like the hardest thing, is consistency.
Just keep doing it.
It's just keep doing it. I have a YouTube channel for my radical therapist thing. We're approaching 5,000 subscribers, but
Okay.
that took for 10 years.
Oh, I don't have 10
I know.
Well,
But I will say that I did a Substack. I started a Substack, and I got a couple hundred, and it's more therapy stuff. But I wrote one thing. I decided I'm writing every week, and then one week I wrote this thing, and it went viral. And now I have like 4,000 subscribers, right? And so you just never know what it's going to be. Even I just went viral on TikTok with a video. I'm doing these videos where artists, therapists can learn from. And so I'll take an artist and like kind of detail their work and why a therapist can learn from it. And those have been popular, and so play around with your ideas. Don't just keep doing the same thing and see what hits. But the one thing I know to be true is consistency works. I'll tell you a story. I have a friend who started a YouTube channel. It's in politics. He started a YouTube channel in his house, like doing his own thing, and he's a very opinionated guy. He did a YouTube channel, and he kind of just did every day, and he did 2 to 3 times a day.
Wow.
Posts. But now he makes like $40,000-$50,000 a month from his YouTube channel. Yeah.
What is
And
it, a subscription type thing?
no, it's from he gets the Google
the
ad
advertising.
revenue, right?
Okay, so
and he's got a
that-
podcast, and
Okay.
so he has this cross-pollination thing.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, but I asked him, I said, because he was the one that encouraged me to start my podcast, and this was before he blew up. And I did it, and I asked him, like, when did it switch for you? And he goes, when I started posting 2 to 3 times a day, every day. And then the next thing you know, he took off. Yeah.
Well, that's a whole other story.
But I'm a proponent of the 1,000 true fans thing, right? So you don't need that, I think if anybody, Kevin Kelly's essay, 1,000 True Fans, you should read it if you haven't. And it's just, you need 1,000 people that will spend like $100 on your stuff. That's just an example that he uses. So you don't need a huge audience. It isn't about vanity numbers or something like that. You just need committed people that find you and are into your work. But you have to be consistent. Kevin Kelly, yeah. 1,000 True Fans. Just Google 1,000 True Fans and it'll come up.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Yeah.
For like an individual mid-level artist in Orange County, what do you think's the most effective thing or advice you'd give to someone like me to gather more attention for their work?
Well, I think you need to be online. Yeah, I do. I think you need to be visible online. I'm a big proponent of just showing up everywhere too, which I think you're pretty good at, Jane. Yeah, right. Yeah, and so I'm a big proponent of like being visible. However, and I try to tell people, be visible in the way you want to be visible. Like I tell therapists, like, because when I started my practice, I wanted to work with like entrepreneurs and creatives and stuff like that, and I said, and there's all these events where it's everybody's therapists, right? And it's like, you don't want to be, you want to be the only therapist and with all the artists, right? And that's kind of what you do. But with artists, the problem with Orange County, though, you got me talking now, sorry. And when I started MySpace, the office, there was no real programming about developing a collector base here. And I think that's, to answer the question, maybe what the Orange County Art Block, or the OC Art Block should do is somehow begin to try to educate people about the joys and the benefits of collecting, supporting artists, doing all that. Because I think what we need in Orange County is an active, solid collector base to support artists.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what Liz is doing though with her
Liz Wallen.
Pelican or whatever? no,
Liz
not
Wall
really.
does a Pelican Arch Circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's,
Kind of, but you're right.
but she wants to